Welcome, everybody, to the big show. I'm Chris Collins, and this is Christian.
Hello.
Today, we're going to talk about dealerships' economic hurricane survival plan. But it's much more than that. It's an incredible conversation about a little boy, a tire, a grocery store, a rotisserie chicken, and a mother, and Pepsi. That and much, much more coming up on this edition of Service Drive Revolution. Christian took his car in for a simple thing.
What should have been a simple thing? Yep. Mm-hmm.
Very simple thing.
And
you're disappointed.
I'm disappointed. And
we're not starting off this episode with a joke.
No.
There's no. I was walking to work this morning, and
although I might have to walk home.
This guy with no pants on, and I said, "I know you can get some pants," and the guy's like, "I don't want pants," and then whatever. I don't know. However that joke goes.
Because he's free.
Yeah.
So took the Toyota in for some tires. It was time. And
how many miles on the Toyota?
85,000.
Holy cow, she drives a lot.
100 miles a day.
And so I think we should tell everybody it's not your car.
Right.
It's your fiance's car?
I'm just responsible for said maintenance on the vehicle.
Is there a wedding date? Or is it just your fiance forever?
Sometime next year.
Oh, next year?
I think sometime in 2020. No, but sometime in 2025.
What?
Nice, we had other things to worry about.
June wedding?
I don't know.
It's so hot.
Yeah. I really like fall's one of my favorite seasons. Maybe a fall wedding. Could be fun. But so the advisor I've worked with a couple of times now, and he told me last time around that, hey, next time it's going to be tire time, which I'm like, I love that kind of stuff where I know ahead of time if I have to do something.
So they did an inspection.
Yep.
And they said, Christian, next time you come in for an oil change, you should plan on getting some tires because your tires are wearing out.
They are at the end of their life. And I said,
and is it all four tires?
All four tires. Now, like one was at 4:30 seconds and the rest are at 3 or something like that, but do them all, whatever. So I said, okay, great. Give me some options. So gave me some options. Then I usually like to do...
What options?
So Dunlop, Michelin, Yokohama, and then there was one other brand, Kuma or something like that, I think was the four.
Do you have a preference?
I do. So I like Yokohama tires, and they also look like they're the best value. And then I do a thing where I always like to ask the advisor, which tires would you pick? And just see if they've got a favorite too. Not that it means that I'm going to go with that, but so I was like, okay, so I'm going to go with the Yokohama tires.
Are you having this conversation on the phone or
all
text?
Over text. So today was the first time I talked to this fella. Everything else had been over text.
That's very Midwest of you.
Yeah.
This fella.
So
you last time you're in for the oil change, you have this text exchange, and he says, hey, by the way, next time you come in, you're going to need tires. And you're like, oh, okay, what kind of tires?
Sends me pictures of the different tires. Really, really good job.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you need pictures? You don't know what a tire looks like?
I just like that he did it. I know what a tire looks like. He doesn't know who I am. He doesn't even know that I've been in the car business.
You're a sucker for the extra effort of the picture?
Yeah. So last week, I text him and I say, hey.
Time for an oil change.
Time for an oil change.
And by the way.
Let's get those Yokohamas on. So
we need tires.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I printed the text.
Oh, this is the text. Can I see?
Yeah.
So you screenshot these? Are we going to put these up on the screen?
If we zap out his stuff.
What if they're listening in their car?
So start from here.
Hi, Alex. Christian here. Christian.
I left out a couple of O's.
Do you think you can get me in next week for the oil change and to install the Yokohama tires? Yes, next week, fine. Let's say 6:41 a.m. Jeez Louise.
Sorry.
Great. Tuesday or Wednesday works best for me. Just let me know which works for you, and I'll bring the...
CHR.
Is that the car?
Yeah.
In. Let's do Tuesday, he says.
Yes.
Great. I'll drop in the morning and put your name on the night drop envelope. Thank you. by the way, just so everybody knows, Christian has never seen the inside of this dealership. Do they park it out for you too?
I have to go in to get my autograph, and then I go right to the valet stand. But I've never really gone into the.
So he
much
does the
past
night drop before they open, and then somehow sneaks in. But he's never met the advisor. It's only been text.
Just text.
You're the dream customer, in a sense.
Okay, that's good. That's one of my points here. All right, so keep going.
You're self-anointing yourself the dream customer?
A little bit.
Okay. So I'll just read this part again because this is a double text here. It says, great, I'll drop in the morning and put your name on the night drop envelope. Thank you. And then you said, do you need a credit card from me to order the tires? What made you ask that? I just want to make sure, get in?
Yeah, so that should be I get in and out in one day.
Let's make sure, get in. Get in. And out in a day.
It's funny when you read my typos.
I just want to make sure, get in and out in a day.
Yep. And then so what's
he says, no, you're good. You're doing a lot of work here.
Yeah.
I would never do this amount of
I understand, but I really wanted to get my car in and out in a day. So yesterday I texted to make sure.
Why do you want to get it in and out in a day?
Because we switched cars. She's taking the BMW and putting all the miles on it to do her thing. I don't want miles on my car.
She drives to San Diego for work?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Hi, Alex. Hope you had a great weekend. Just confirming we are a go for tomorrow's tire appointment. I didn't get an appointment reminder like I usually do. He said, correct. And then you said, thank you. So then you go, and I'm going to guess the punchline to this.
So drop it off, 6:45, night drop envelope, and then 7:10 I get my first phone call.
7:10 in the morning?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Have
you ever talked to him that early before?
I never talked to him before.
Oh, so now we're past text.
Yes, and
now
I'm like,
we get the real.
So when I see the phone
deal?
number come up, what do you think? I know already. I know.
You had you can tell by how many times you asked that you had a premonition.
I did.
Okay.
So
they don't have.
He calls me.
Do they have the Dunlops?
Yeah. So he's like, "Was it the Dunlops you wanted?" And I'm like, "This son of a gun."
You don't like Dunlops?
No, I just know that. No, it's the Yokohamas. So, but what he was saying is, was it the Dunlops? Like, oh yeah, I forgot that I said Yokohama Dunlop. Really close words. But I'm like, no, it's the Yokohamas that we talked about in the text. And I verified, and then verified again. And he's like, yeah, they sold those over the weekend.
Sure they did.
Whatever. So he couldn't tell me last night when I confirmed. And he's like, hey, so can you just bring the car back on Thursday? And I'm like, my whole point to doing this was a one day in and out. And I literally said, I'm like, I don't know how I could have made this any easier. Like, can you think of a customer that ever did this much work for you?
No, that's crazy.
So I do think that I'm a pretty good customer.
I would have walked back and had them held in the parts. I would have said, I have some coming in, hold those.
Yeah.
I would have because sometimes I wrote service at places where the parts managers were a pain in the ass. I would have created an RO and had them put it on the RO.
Especially if I was willing to pay for them or whatever, right? So,
yeah.
So my head went to, like, if I really wanted to get this done, I would have had to have bypassed the advisor altogether, called the parts department, bought the tires.
Well, that's usually how I do it as a customer.
So
I make friends with somebody in parts.
Yeah, so this is what I should have done. I should have called the parts department directly and had the appointment and set the appointment myself. Because the other thing I'd almost guarantee, I bet he never put an appointment for me in the system.
Well, of course not. You didn't get a reminder.
I didn't get a reminder, so then I didn't get an appointment in the system.
By the way, this dealership is owned by one of the big auto groups.
It is.
So it's not like a locally owned thing.
And it just the whole thing kind of just got me thinking about, like, remember a couple of weeks ago we were talking about where, like, they did that monitoring of people calling and, like, 25% hung up without setting an appointment. Like,
oh, yeah.
This is a good example of, like, everyone's like, oh, you got to sell tires and alignments and all that stuff. And then, like, people are begging you to do it. And we still drop the ball.
It's all in the execution.
Yeah.
The demand is there. People need tires.
And he did really well through 80% of it. The follow through was the last part.
I wouldn't say he did well through any of it.
Oh, I like that he told me last time that next time. I think that's
That
good.
almost feels like an accident.
Or maybe I pushed it. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't all of this is driven by you.
yeah.
He's just all of his look at the amount of words
that I do versus what he does.
he put let's do Tuesday. No, you good. That's it.
Yeah.
And those are 3 different texts.
Right.
No, he's not doing any work.
Okay.
He seems indifferent. See, that's the thing about text. It's hard to know context. But on this one, look at how much you text, and he goes, "No, you good, correct."
It looks like I'm the advisor.
Yeah. No, it does. It looks like the roles are reversed.
That's super interesting, and I still didn't get what I wanted.
Yeah. I wouldn't go back.
I'm running out of Toyota dealers to go to.
Go to there's a tire thing up with old Sears up there. There's a tire shop would have it, right?
Yeah. No, I'll find it. I really like servicing at the dealer.
Go to Longo.
I can't go to Mongo either.
Why?
Because I'm mad at them because of the 7-hour oil change.
Oh.
Maybe they're better now.
Probably not. It's hard being on the other side, isn't it?
Well, I don't mind it because it's a great reminder of how important what we're doing is.
Yeah, but unfortunately with the consolidation, this public company doesn't care about this. They just look at this dealership as a number. They don't care about the outcome. The only time they get worried about customer satisfaction is if they can't buy another dealership.
Right.
That's it.
Do you think that that is a thing that I kind of noticed as I was going through and thinking about what we're going to talk about today is that the consolidation thing. What do you think is going to happen there? Is I think that there's been this thing where the price of dealerships keeps going up and up and up. So these acquisition costs for these big companies keeps growing. I think there's a shelf there. I think it's going to crash. And the
For sure.
dealerships are not going to be worth as much. And then what do you think? They're going to do a crazy sell-off, don't you think? Because it's just about pluses and minuses and all that stuff. Like there's not a desire to make sure that we keep these stores.
In the words of the great Bob Dylan, the answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind.
Thank you.
The
Bob.
answer is blowing in the wind.
Yeah.
My friend, blowing in the wind. We don't really know, but it doesn't. I mean, the other thing that's going to happen eventually is the new car side is going to be more automated, like Tesla, in the sense that you're going to buy the car online. There's no reason for you to go through all the pain that you go through, right?
Right.
So most car dealers are from the sales department. How many car dealers want to own a service department and parts department?
Very few. They feel like it's that necessary evil.
Yeah, so in 10 years, it'll be interesting to see what that's like. But, I mean, really it's going to be more about the service because the more autonomous the cars are, the more it's just a transaction, right?
Yeah.
Also, I would say, too, like a lot of the design of cars is very boring. Like, cars are just a transactional thing. They're only at the top high end are cars exciting design-wise. Like, I don't know. All the Toyotas and Hondas look the same.
Yeah, and now the Hyundais and the Kias are starting to look like those. So, I don't know. They're all they're all blending together a little bit. Yeah.
I don't think people have a personal connection to their car like they used to either. Not in the cities. I don't know. It's interesting. You know,
there's a couple of brands that hold on to it a little bit.
I don't know how much we want to get into this, but I think about this stuff a lot. I was talking to my cousin who is in the grocery business, right? And so, so you know that. So I sent Christian a picture when I was up in Washington at home, and the thing that blows me away is in Washington as a state. Like growing up, you had especially in the summer, you had the freshest vegetables and fruits.
Yeah.
And like you know, there were farmers that had cows, and you would hunt and you would eat deer, but all the meat you would eat was local and fresh. You would can fruit, so you had it throughout the year. So you'd can peaches, you would can pears, and you ate very healthy. Now, I mean, I've been in California 25 years or something. We eat better here in LA than the people in Washington, in the sense that most of the grocery stores have been consolidated.
Right.
So there's two companies that own all the grocery stores now, basically. And then the third option is Walmart. They have a grocery
which is
section.
probably the busiest of all of them, right? Like that's where.
But the most Walmart does not care about the quality of the food they're buying and selling.
Yeah, I would suggest there's nothing local in a Walmart for Washington.
Yeah. And so it ends up that the people in Washington are very unhealthy. They look unhealthy. They just are unhealthy. Like, it's crazy. The cancer, the obesity, it's sad in a way. Like, and people are eating these calories, and they're addicted to carbs and sugar. And I mean, I just see it with my family. It's crazy the amount of just junk food and chips and all that everybody's consuming. And so it always blows me away. The line at the pharmacy at Walmart is longer than the line for checkout. Like, it's just nuts. And so the picture I sent you wasn't from Walmart. It was from Fred Meyer. And I sent Christian a picture. They have a whole section at the pharmacy there, which is literally across the street from Walmart.
It was a room.
It was a room. And what did it say?
Diabetes care.
Diabetes care. And like, you go through that grocery store, it's really hard to find healthy options. Even though stuff is grown in Washington, most of that produce is coming from Brazil or somewhere else. It's not locally grown. You have to go to a fruit stand to buy locally grown stuff. You can just tell by the peaches, and you know, it's terrible. Even the strawberries come from somewhere else. And it's like, Washington used to produce tons of that stuff, and now it's just not economical, whatever it is. But I'm talking to my cousin about this, and the economics of it are just interesting, because he was explaining to me the psychology of a grocery store, and him and I talk about this all the time, and he knows I'm fascinated by it. And I forget what I was telling him about psychology wise, but he goes, well, yeah, all the end caps in the grocery store, this and that and the other thing. And I said, how much do they pay? Oh, I know what it was. So Missy wanted a rotisserie chicken. So we're waiting for the rotisserie chickens to come out. Like, say it's 10:45 and they put them out at 11. So we're standing around waiting. 11 comes, they put out the rotisserie chickens, and on the rotisserie chicken thing, they say you can get a 6-pack of Pepsi for $1 if you buy a rotisserie chicken.
Oh no.
And there's a bunch of just regular Pepsi there. And we got 2 rotisserie chickens, and then, of course, my mom wanted to get the 6-pack of Pepsi. We got
How
2
can
of
you
those
turn it down?
for $1. And we go up to the cashier, and my mom tells the cashier, hey, these are $1 because we got 2 rotisserie chickens. And the lady's like, yeah, the computer will take care of it. And sure enough, it did. As soon as she scanned the rotisserie chickens, it took the price
minus
of the
$2.99 or
6-packs
whatever,
down to $1. So I was asking him, how can they afford to do that? And he was telling me, basically, those 6-packs were either gifted in a deal or or they were very cheap, but they're not losing money on that. And I'm like, well, what's this why do you want people to drink that sugar water with a rotisserie chicken? It doesn't even make sense. And then we were talking about the end caps. That's how we got there. So he's talking about the end caps, and then he's like, yeah, so the end caps are always some sort of special and whatever. And I go, well, how much do the food companies pay for the end cap? And he's like, well, it varies, depending. And I was saying, well, there was just this crazy like thing that just stuck in my mind when I was walking around the grocery store is they have Lay's potato chips with Lionel Messi on them, the soccer player.
Because that's how he got to where he's at.
Yeah, of course. Like, so you got, it's like Metallica having whiskey. Like, they don't drink. They're all recovering alcoholics that don't drink, but they want to pitch out alcohol to everybody.
Right.
It's so disingenuous. It drives me crazy. So he's like, it's a bag of potato chips, but it's a picture of him like people used to have their picture on Wheaties. So it's the Messi, his name is across the top, and then it says Lay's, and then it's his potato chips, and it's on an end cap, right? And so I was like, okay, so let me get this straight. And I was saying this to my cousin. They pay that guy $1 million. They lower, well, he was saying they lower the serving amount in the bag. So instead of like 12, it'll be 10 ounces of potato chips or whatever.
Yeah.
I got the ounces wrong, but basically those are shrinking. And Lay's is paying, I don't know, a couple grand to have that end cap. They're paying him $1 million, and they could care less about the quality that the consumer, as long as it's crunchy and salty. It doesn't matter what it's fried in. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it gives people diabetes. They could care less as long as they're addicted to it and they're just eating it. And all of the margins are going in the value isn't in the quality of the food. The value is in the marketing and how easy it is to grab and put in your bag.
That's right.
And that's where we're at as a country.
That's exactly
Can
where
I
we're at.
grab it and throw it in my bag, in my shopping cart, and is there a celebrity that doesn't even eat this stuff on the cover of it, endorsing it? Like, that's
so
where
funny.
all the money, that's where the margin is going, and there's absolutely no research or thought going into how could we make these healthier. You feel terrible after you eat it. You feel absolutely terrible. You have like a potato chip hangover. You have more sodium in your body, or you drink that Pepsi and you have more,
that's a
corn
lot of
syrup
carbonated
and just
sugar. Yeah.
garbage in your body. You feel terrible. And that's where we're at. Like, that's how grocery stores are feeding people. Is it's all in, hey, does Kim Kardashian drink that? Then I'm going to, and nothing to do with how we're growing the food, how we're preparing the food. It could all be made in a warehouse in Mexico or Brazil or whatever, deep fried junk with the most sugar, and people are just walking around going, I deserve another cupcake because I'm so depressed. Everybody's depressed and eating bad food. It's just nuts.
It's gonna keep going.
But just to the consolidation of the car dealership, it's the same sort of thing. Is it's like they don't care. Nobody. If we called corporate for these guys and they don't care. They would yell at the guy maybe because it's you, but they don't care. They could care less. It's just a number on a sheet. Like, there was a time when dealerships were in the community. They were like, the guy who owned the dealership also saw everybody at church,
At the grocery store or church. That's exactly right. We have a few clients like that.
Oh, yeah, but they're dying every day.
Yeah.
Like, they're going away. Like, it's like, we've let consumerism and marketing and everything get so far. I mean, we talk about that with our company, and the leadership thing is like, we're going to judge that thing on the results that people get from reading the book and from doing it. We're going to charge what we need to charge for it, but it's going to be quality. And we're going to, there's thought that goes into it. It's not just endorsed by a celebrity or
how we feel or how popular it is.
Tons of celebrities are buying the book.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Interesting.
It's funny to see those names on the manifest and everything like that. But yeah, so we've definitely made a commitment is that, like, we're not going to celebrate after a workshop if it feels like it went really well. We're going to talk about it in 2 or 3 months and say, okay, what were they like coming in? What were they like coming out? Very results driven. Like, it's just about, are we making a change?
I would contend that if we wanted to buy dealerships, we could do it the way we do things, and we would kill everybody. Like, I don't know, I ran the #1 BMW store in the country, and that was the mindset. Like, customers were the priority, the experience was the priority. It wasn't the other way around. Like, that was never even a thought. Like, it just wasn't. But it would have been, really hard to duplicate that in 10 locations.
Yeah, because there's only one of you, right? So if you're trying to split
I think at some point those like a lot of the managers that work for me are general managers now and running stuff.
Oh, that's true.
So yeah, I take that back. I think you could do it in 10 locations. It's just having the bench. Yeah. But I don't know. We could take our team right now and do that.
Yeah, we have enough people.
Yeah, and enough talented people that they could run something
and attract
in
talent
a nice
and all that other stuff, right? Yeah. And scale it. That's a really good point.
But maybe things flip to that. Maybe we should be thinking that way. I don't know. We're talking out loud, thinking out loud. But the grocery store thing blew me away when I was talking to him about that, because it's like, oh, they paid for that end cap. They don't get that end cap for free, and then they're discounting it. Well, lowering the serving that's in there normally, and they got a celebrity on there.
That's right.
Nobody cares about the nutritional value of that thing.
Or what they're buying, right? But the Pepsi thing makes perfect sense to me, because what you start to do is you can go in and just buy a chicken and walk out. But if you have the chicken and now you have the Pepsi, now you're formulating a meal, which requires the chips and all the other things. Like, it makes perfect sense to me.
You want to know another thing that he told me that they do?
Oh, I can't wait.
So, like,
they put Twinkies by the diabetes care.
I'm gonna give you a loose example, because I don't know what I don't know. But what they will do is, if you're used to like the ketchup and the mustard being together in the store, they'll move the mustard. Guess why they do that?
Because you have to go to other aisles that you wouldn't normally go to. That's interesting. A little smart.
Well, you know what I was thinking about is like how I always say, like, just move their desk. Like, if you want to disrupt somebody's habits, just move their desk. Like, you're disrupting the customer's habits, because I guess the thing that grocery stores are fighting is people run in and get the thing they need and they want to run out. So you're disrupting that and making them go see that now there's 25 different Twinkies or whatever.
Yeah, that's interesting. So all that brings me to this thing that then I think will drive us into what we're talking about. So, like, there's a lot of planning and strategy that goes into this whole thing, right? Yeah. With the grocery store.
It's not by accident.
So it makes me think of last year. I remember there was a hurricane going through Florida, which a hurricane always goes through Florida at this time of year. And I was kind of just thinking about the other day. And I remember last year distinctly that there was, it was on the news. Like, and I think that's funny that, like, the hurricane in Florida is bigger in California news than it is in Florida news almost. But, like, it looks pretty dangerous and pretty crazy and everything like that. So my son lives in Florida with his mom and stepdad and grandmother. And so I call him during the middle of this storm, right? And I call his cell phone, and he answers like, "Hey, Dad, how you doing?" Totally calm, everything like that. I'm like, "Hey, just want to check in on you. Everybody's safe. Everybody doing all right?" He's like, "Oh yeah, me and Grams are just making muffins."
During the hurricane?
During the hurricane, and I'm like, "Oh, okay. So you're not nervous or worried?" He's like, "No, I'm not nervous or worried or anything." And then it kind of like hit me with a ton of bricks, right? So why was he not worried or nervous? Because, a year ago, they made a disaster plan of what they would do if there's a bad hurricane, and like there's different levels of a hurricane if it hits their town. They have a house that has like the hurricane reinforced windows, and like they don't get leaks or anything like that. They've got a generator in the event that power goes out and all that other stuff. And they have they have a radio, like a two-way radio, and like they're very, very prepared for that. But the reason that they're baking muffins in the middle of a hurricane is because they did all that preparation before. Right? So then kind of thinking about our model in the dealership world is how much preparation are we doing? We're not even close.
That's a great analogy.
We're not even close to where the grocery store is. We're literally just trying to play defense.
Yeah. And also not leveraging the the thing that we have going for us, which is dealerships have 5 or 6 businesses inside of it. We only look at it as one business of selling new and used, and we don't see that when one business is down, if the other ones are strong, there's leverage in having a plan and having everything functioning the way that it should.
You can be successful no matter what the circumstance. No matter what the circumstance.
But nobody wants to check the batteries. Nobody wants to make sure we have fuel for the generator. Like, it's just, you know, we, as you know, most car dealers identify with how many cars they're selling, and they don't think about the opportunity in the marketplace. And, you know, like your tire story, like it's really just about execution, having a system to take care of customers. But somehow service customers and service employees are an afterthought. They're a necessary evil, not a priority.
And customers have to work hard to get service.
Yeah, for sure.
It's crazy that they have to work hard to get service.
And also, just today in this market, they don't tolerate that anymore. Like, they just don't. Like, it's crazy how many Teslas you see on the road.
It's people that are tired of the standard old dealership model.
Yeah, never been in for service with a Tesla.
Yeah.
They
They couldn't tell you a thing about electric cars or what they mean or whatever. They just know that they don't have to go do that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It really is about having a plan and knowing what's important and leveraging the departments that have the most opportunity, not the ones that are your favorites.
Yeah. But, you know, let's say that the economy completely takes a dump. You know who's not going to be worried about it? Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
Because he will make a plan
He's
to
got a
win
plan.
no matter what.
Yeah.
And there's no world where he doesn't win.
And everybody always says, oh, he's lucky, he's, you know, whatever. No,
He's planning.
he's seen it.
Yep.
It's cyclical. It's good. Well, that's great. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us. And we'll see you next time on Service Drive Revolution. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Service Drive Revolution. We're uploading new stuff every day, so make sure you subscribe and click the bell icon so you don't miss out. If you have a question you'd like us to answer on the show, call 8333-ASK-SDR and we'll answer your question on the show. That's 8333-ASK-SDR. For special deals on our books and training, head over to offers.chriscollinsinc.com. Now that's offers.chriscollinsinc.com. I'm Chris Collins, and I'll see you in the next video.